hit him, the rookie out of Florida. And here's Hardy Nickerson nailing Couch in his hand.
Well, he's just trying to get extra yardage there, and Hardy just stepped on it.
In that drive, though, Couch was 6 of 7 en route to the touchdown. And look at the total yards, 173 yards to 67 for Jacksonville. Certainly Tim Couch still able to throw the football with that injured or bruised right hand. But for Mark Brunell, he will not return, we're told. So it will be Jonathan Quinn the rest of the way for the Jaguars. And this certainly changes the game plan for Cleveland's defense, understanding that Brunell is not available.
I think they can bring a little bit more pressure right now because they know they've got the mismatch out there with Aaron Cook at the tackle spot where Baselli was before. And you've got a guy whose blind side now is not protected. You got Mo Williams on the other side over there. He's the right tackle. But I think, again, what this does is changes the game plan and makes your backup quarterback even a little bit more susceptible to injury.
And in the case of Jonathan Quinn, you're talking about a guy that really has only been successful in NFL Europe. Kick comes down to Damon Gibson. He's ahead to the 30, beyond the 30 to the 31-yard line. First down, 10 Jacksonville from there for Jonathan Quinn. Well, tonight on 60 Minutes, how prepared are we for a biological or chemical attack? Let the man who briefs the president brief you tonight on 60 Minutes. Quinn, as we mentioned, NFL Europe, he was the MVP of the World Bowl playing for the Berlin Thunder, and his efficiency rating was better than 95%. In 10 games, he threw for just under 2,300 yards and 24 touchdowns. But that was then, this is now. Here's Stacey Mack right up the middle. Plenty of room, a first down to the 43-yard line. Earl Little comes up from strong safety to make the stop, and what a gaping hole he had.
Well, I think the key is here, you don't have but a couple of down linemen here. The little ISO play, it's not like a slow draw, but it does open up in similar fashion. And the hole is gaping. Any good running back, an average back, can make plus yardage when you've got that kind of space to work with him.
7 carries, 43 yards for Mack. 3 wide receiver set for Quinn. Nice pitch and catch right into the hands of Jimmy Smith. The one has to figure must be a playmaker in this half for Jacksonville if they're to make a comeback.
Well, that's a great job of spotting the ball, too, because you have a zone coverage. You got 3 defenders all around Jimmy Smith, and Quinn does a great job of threading the needle right between all of those bodies.
Mike Ryan, the trainer, spent a lot of time with Jimmy Smith during his rehabilitation period. They never thought he'd be ready to play by now. Many people thought Jimmy Smith would be, say 6 games into the season before he'd become available. McCardell in motion. On first down, they swing it out to Smith. Can't get away from Fuller. Had him wrapped up immediately. There's just a tremendous amount of respect that everyone in the NFL has for Jimmy Smith.
Well, particularly from Tom Coughlin. He's his biggest fan. And when you think about it, that's no surprise. He's a very physical player. He's a type of guy that gets excited about the game. He was chief on that list that you referred to a few minutes ago of people who didn't think he could make it back. And Tom Coughlin appreciated that and showed his emotion during his recovery.
And they want him to get yards after the catch when they throw underneath. Here's Mack. Nothing doing this time. Runs right into Gerard Warren. And again, a little more after the fact between the Browns and the Jaguars. There were 2 taunting penalties called against Jacksonville in one offensive sequence towards the end of the first quarter and the opening moments of the second. I think this young Cleveland team has come in here with a sort of Butch Davis collegiate approach to the game. And this veteran Jaguar club has been stunned somewhat.
I think that's a fair assessment. One of the things that's exciting about Cleveland is they're not playing like a young group. You're talking about being the 4th youngest starting group in the National Football League. They look like poised veterans out there today.
Quinn. Complete to McCardell. First down at the 32. No, touch Smith. Jimmy Smith again. Well, they have very similar approaches to the game. Jimmy Smith taking advantage of single coverage.
Well, again, you've got the soft pad between the defenders. Smith is going to go upfield and push and come underneath. Screen. That's an easy play. You make it. You've got the soft pad between you and defender. He just finds the void in the zone, settles down. Quinn put it right on it.
McCardell and Smith both flank to the bottom of your screen. Mack
see is Brad Meester did a tremendous job of leading on the pull, the offensive guard there. A great job of Mack following and waiting, being patient until the play developed for the big positive yardage. Tremendous job.
Now, this is just the kind of drive that Jonathan Quinn needed, coming in with the realization that Mark Brunell will not be available the rest of the way.
It's a great job of adjusting by Tom Coughlin and his whole staff.
Patrick Washington, the up back, ran up the middle of the map. Misdirection look, well played out by Quinn, really fooling the Cleveland defense.
That's the play action away that makes it very successful. You'll see the ISO play here, and up the middle goes the back. What made it really work is the flow and the play action on the reverse. All of a sudden, you freeze the linebackers inside, you get great angles on them. Tremendous job game planning.
2nd and 1 from the 9. Cardell in motion. Mack carries again. Only ahead for about a yard. Could be enough for the first down, however. Wayne Rudd makes the stop.
Keep in mind, Tim, it's always going to get more difficult to get yards down here because the field is compressed in the red zone. It's so tough to score because there's less field to defend for defense. Meantime, the offense, it becomes much more of a challenge for them, but easier for the defense.
3rd down, less than a yard. Well, sometimes it's ideologies, you know. From Coughlin's perspective, he wanted to change the red zone to the green zone, be more optimistic about this area of the field. 3rd and less than 1. Goes to the fade. Touchdown, McCardell.
Fuller's going to get toasted on this play, and what you got is a little scrape here. You can't see it from the tight shot, but you've got a body cross and a little wheel route, and Coughlin is excited about it because they executed play delight. He's the type of coach that gets excited about his team executing plays. Quinn obviously excited about the success, and that's going to do nothing but bolster his confidence as we go along here in the second half.
Well, he only needed 9 catches for 500 in his career, Keenan McCardell. That's his first touchdown reception of this season.
Yes, he did.
Hollis for the extra point. Just like that, Jacksonville takes the opening drive of the half, and they use McCardell and Smith, Pro Bowlers to be sure, playmakers in this half. 13-7, the Browns lead the Jaguars. 9:43 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Benjamin Gay back deep. He has it at his 7. Outstanding return out to the 33-yard line. 26 yards for Gay. Good field position for the Browns. McCardell feeling a comeback. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman back at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville. Cleveland Browns have the football after surrendering their first touchdown of this game. A masterful drive of 69 yards. Casey Mack had 37 of it on the ground, and McCardell and Smith the bulk of the yards amassed in the air. Couch dumps it underneath again to Jamel White. That's been there all day for Cleveland. He stopped at the 39-yard line. Kevin Hardy very active, his 7th tackle of the day, and we've got an injured Brown at the 30-yard line. Appears to be Trey Johnson, the right guard, veteran of Temple. We'll check on him and return in a moment. 9:14 left. Browns up by 6.
Here's where the action block is taking place. Watch Seth Payne roll him up right on the back of the leg right there. And that's one of the most toughest situations a lineman can face, getting hit from behind. You don't have the benefit of moving and stepping around those oncoming blockers. It's tough. Dave Wollabaugh.
Jeremy McKinney will be pressed into duty as Trey Johnson is pulled out of there. So we'll see how that affects the running game. Now, James Jackson, we're told, can play in the second half. But Jamel White is in the backfield now. He's the lone setback. touchdown. The return by Beasley off the fumble.
Todd McNair, the consultant, is back. Nice job of making a guy elude him, but Aaron Beasley scoops it up and takes it in for the touchdown. Just one man to beat. He's in for the score.
TJ Slaughter. He forced it. He hit him and knocked the ball loose. And scooped up by Beasley. And he took it all the way home. And just like that, after Cleveland had dominated the first half, perhaps those missed opportunities when they had to settle for 3 coming back to haunt this Cleveland team. A youngster from West Virginia out of the mines and into the end zone. Here's the kick. It comes down. It's fumbled again. This time Gay at the 15. Buried at the 17. And this crowd of better than 70,000 has had plenty to cheer about in the opening moments of the second half. Butch Davis's team surrendering 67-yard drive in Jacksonville's first series, and then the turnover by White. Jackson unavailable at least in the first half. We may see more of him in the second after that fumble. TJ Slaughter, a big hitter, forced that fumble that allowed Beasley the touchdown. And those linebackers from Jacksonville will catch up to you at some point.
And that big hit also spilled over to the cover team's unit. You can see the aggressiveness swarming to the ball in the cover.
On first down, Couch. Little crossing pattern to Kevin Johnson, 2 yards shy of a first down. Sunday, the NFL on CBS shows off regional action in one matchup. Eddie George leads the Titans against Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Don't forget, the NFL Today gets you started at noon Eastern time. For more, go to NFL.com, the official source for all your NFL information. AOL keyword NFL.com. Fernando Bryant is down at the 27-28 yard line, and we've had boy, how many injuries. This could be a record for one game. It all began with Brunell, who did try to come back and he played in 2 series after he was injured in the opening series when hit by Gerard Warren. And Bryant now no mobility at all with his right knee.
And Tim, beginning with TJ Slaughter's big hit on the return for the touchdown and the way the special teams covered to open it up, it tells you that the whole flavor of this game has changed a little bit. All of a sudden, now the aggressors are the Jaguars.
Oh, you can see where that knee was extended. As he was making the tackle, holding on to Johnson, you could see that left knee extend. White ahead for the first down to about the 27, perhaps 28-yard line. Kevin Hardy made the tackle. Now James Jackson apparently will be able to come back. He took a knee in the back, you'll recall, in the first half, and then White came in and helped lead the Browns to their first scoring drive. There's Jackson chomping at the bit. He's been cleared to return. He's standing right behind Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator for Cleveland. But for now, it's Jamel White.
White has done a fine job. He just doesn't have the aggressiveness of Jackson, though. Now Couch is checking off at the line of scrimmage.
Into a bevy of Jaguars. They were all there. Kevin Hardy leading the charge and a marker down. And the penalty will be against Jacksonville.
12 men on the defense. That's a legal substitution. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now Gary Moeller won't like that. Well, tonight on CBS, see why the critics.
I was going to comment, Tim, that Jacksonville had an answer for the audible. The 12 men on the field, that explains it.
White tries the right side, gets away from McCree, and another flag comes down as he's taken out at the 43-yard line. Kewaukee Thomas the stop, and the holding penalty will be against Cleveland.
Number 88, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And this game began with Tony Baselli being put on the inactive list. He had been questionable all week, but it was obviously more questionable than the normal questionable area would be. And then Brunell gets hurt. And we've now seen Trey Johnson lost in this game. Injuries can take their toll, particularly after a long layoff. We saw a number of them last week when action resumed in the NFL. On 1st and 15, Kevin Johnson. That may be enough for the first down. All the way out to the 39-yard line. Thomas and McCree collaborate for Jacksonville. And it is a first down for the Browns.
Well, Jacksonville has certainly responded with an aggressive defense response, but there's still some voids that Couch is able to really exploit in that secondary zone coverage. And until Jacksonville can find an answer for that, Cleveland's still in this thing, very much alive.
Sellers is now the other tight end. Mike Sellers, 44. Very versatile player. Nothing doing for White this time. Stop for less than a yard. And Spicer in to make the stop. Now, Cleveland does not have that big physical back that a lot of other teams in the Central Division have, like these.
Well, they are impressive backs, but you look at their numbers from last year. The key is you got to have a big back like an Eddie George. Even though he's coming off the surgery situation with the big toe, he still is a presence. He makes defenses do things to adjust to his talent. If you have the presence of a big-time back, it makes all the difference in the world in terms of preparation.
5 defensive backs for Jacksonville. Plenty of time. Pass is complete to Jawan Dawson right in front of Hardy Nickerson. Out to the 45-yard line, so 3rd down and 5 coming up. You see Jamie German coming back into the game. He's been a favorite receiver for Couch. They call it 3rd down and a long 4. Look at that, 217 for Cleveland today against the Jacksonville defense that's 9th in the NFL, surrendering 272 on average. Couch. Well, he decides to shovel it late. That'll be an incomplete forward pass. Boy, he almost pulled a Mark Brunell there.
I don't understand if these guys are trying to make plays like that. I mean, the second time, Larry Smith is the guy that's really creating pressure on the quarterbacks. Couch is looking, surveying the field, doesn't find anything, takes off. There's Smith creating the pressure, the shovel pass. Now, the one thing you can say that's heads up about that, he knows it's not going to be a turnover, it's not going to be a fumble because it's a pass attempt.
Unless it goes into the receiver's hands and then pops up, as was the case with Stacey Mack.
You are correct, sir.
Thank you, Ed. Damon Gibson awaits the punt of Gardocki. Going towards the boundary. And out at the 23-yard line. That's where Jacksonville will have it when we come back. 14-13 Jaguars. The active Jacksonville defense. Very happy with their play in the last series against Cleveland. John Peace, their outstanding assistant. 4:37 remaining here in the 3rd. With the ball at the 22. And it's Mack. Spins away from Warren and gets a lot done on his own beyond the 22 to the 25-yard line. Monday on CBS, it's an all-new night of comedy, starting with The King of Queens, followed by Yes Dear. Then it's Monday's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, and the season premiere of Becker, followed by an all-new Family Law. It's all here Monday on CBS.
You said yes, dear, so easy.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of practice. There are the numbers on Mack. And he hasn't turned it over. That's important. That's been part of his M.O. McCardell in motion. On the slant, incomplete, late flag. Well, I think Tom Coughlin talked him into that. Sean Dawkins, the intended receiver. Fuller will debate that, and I think based on the lateness of the flag, he's got a point. It was a very late flag.
Defensive pass interference, number 24, first down.
See, I'm not debating whether the call's correct, but you clearly saw the Coughlin camp go crazy, and that evokes the flag about 3 or 4 seconds later.
Well, football is funny that way. It's the only sport where sometimes you know you're dead wrong and you still cheer the other direction. This isn't like golf where you turn yourself in, right?
Play fake. Quinn with plenty of time overshoots the intended receiver Smith. Actually, the pass was closer to Keenan McCardell as it turned out. Smith was underneath and McCardell was running the deeper route. Now the Browns defense under Foge Fazio and under the tutelage of Butch Davis has certainly improved. Only 138 yards given up, and you see the numbers. Look at that, 352.7 yards last season per game. Foge has really gotten it done. Mack running with a lot of power up to the 39-yard line. For an update in New York on Baltimore-Denver, to New York and Jim Nance.
Thank you, Timmy B. And the Ravens here have tied it in Denver. Gerback to Kadri Ismail, 20-yard hookup, 13 all with 2:20 to go, third quarter. Let's go back to my well-traveled colleagues down in Jacksonville.
All right, Jim, and we appreciate your relief work in the second half yesterday. We all have to be team players here, don't we?
Hey, we would have it no other way.
That's right. Third down and 3. Caught, almost picked off, and then caught again.
How's that for serendipity?
Dawkins had it, lost it. Then it almost went into the Browns' arms, and then he regathered himself.
Watching receivers, he comes off the ball. I mean, the perfect strike on the run. Great job of the timing. Out into the defender's hands, back into his hands. Boyer thought he had it, but gave it right back up.
Brant Boyer is a former Jacksonville Jaguar, was picked up by the Browns from Jacksonville. Short, though, and not enough for the first down. So on 4th down and 2, Kevin Johnson awaits the punt from Hansen. Again, he waves them off. This one goes out of bounds, well upfield. Browns have really had it their way. I think the opportunities to score, particularly in the first quarter, they only came away with 3. Really have to be bothersome to them now after the gift touchdown given up on the fumble by White into the arms of Aaron Beasley.
That's what second half adjustments are all about. I mean, these coaches are going to go in and look at their strengths and weaknesses, then come out with a game plan to counteract what's going on.
First down. Couch with White as lone setback. 2 tight ends. Jamel White catapults to the 20-yard line. Marcus Stroud, one of the big young guns that this Jacksonville team has. Marcus Stroud, one of them. He's out of Barney, Georgia, which is really a suburb of Valdosta, Georgia. And the people of Barney very proud that he at least admits that it's Barney that he's from, not Valdosta.
He's got the nice little American flag on the little nose bridge there.
Yeah, his 321 pounds adds to the population of Barney. Second down and 6. White ahead for a yard or 2.
Tim, Stroud also, by the way, rooms or lockers right next to Mark Brunell. One of the things that Tom Coughlin did is he just mixed everyone up, try to create some unity with this ball club, and just went in the locker room and saw the little factions in there and just said, hey, look, arbitrarily find your spot. Yeah. We're going to bring this team together.
I like that idea. James Jackson watches as Jamel White plays. 3rd and 5. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Kevin Hardy and Paul Spicer.
Well, the pressure comes from both sides, and Couch is back there's got 2 backs. One's got protection, but Hardy just comes right in the middle of that protection that was so stellar in the first half, but it's going to come right there. Both sides. Couch really didn't have much choice in the matter but to go down.
Hardy has 11 tackles and 1.5 sacks on the day, and now Gardocki to punt it away. Gibson awaits at his 45. Standing punt. Gibson at his 38-yard line. He's down at the 39 for an update. Well, let's wait for a moment. We've got a marker down. Well, back at the line of scrimmage. And I suspect that Jacksonville will make them do this again, because that was a good boot. They're going to force Gardocki to do it again. 47-yard punt, and they had excellent coverage there.
Ineligible receiver down on a kick, number 57. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
All right, Gardocki will now punt it away from his end zone. Fans really getting into it now. This is a key moment in terms of field position the rest of the way.
Well, they're going to have excellent field position no matter what happens here.
More of a low line drive punt. Very returnable for Gibson. Right up the gap to the 40-yard line. So that's a 25-yard penalty, as it turns out. For an update on Cincinnati, San Diego, back to our relief pitcher, Jim Nance.
Thank you, Timmy B. This was a 7-7 game at halftime, but LaDainian Tomlinson scoring twice, running like Spencer Tillman at OU. 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, and the Chargers now up 21-7. Let's go back to Timmy B and Spencer.
Now the Chargers, with that schedule, one thinks they could maybe be 6-0 before they really get into the meat of that schedule.
Well, you listen to Junior say, I'll talk about that club. He says, now we've got a quarterback and we've got a little guy in LaDainian Tomlinson that can give us that extra point to make us more balanced and therefore more dangerous. He's excited about it as well.
Play action fake. Quinn rolls away from trouble, finds the safety valve, and that's Stacy Mack just short of a first down at the 30-yard line. Earl Little ushered him out. Appears to be about a half-yard shy of the first down. Time winding down in the quarter. Tom Coughlin's team trailed by 13. They've used one long drive, and Jonathan Quinn's really taken over this club very, very well. And then the turnover and touchdown to give them the lead. Mack rumbling to the 25 for another first down as we close the 3rd. 14-13 at the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll return to Alltel Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. After the run by Mack, and we've got a marker down. Premature movement up front.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 88, offense. 5 yards, first down.
Isn't it interesting how the ebb and flow of a game can change once a quarterback knows it's his the rest of the way? And I think that's what's happened here with Jonathan Quinn coming in for Brunel.
Well, one thing that Quinn knows, Tim, is that this offense is designed for possession passes first. If you can make the pass, you can have success in this offense. The Brunel is out of it, certainly impacts him. But again, Jonathan Quinn can run this offense. Well,
obviously he's been very successful. He was in NFL Europe. He was MVP for Berlin in the World Bowl. World Bowl number 9. So it's not as if he hasn't had success, but not at this level to the extent that perhaps he's having today. Pass incomplete. Outstanding timing by Fuller there on Jimmy Smith. Monday on CBS, the King of Queens surprises his wife with a birthday present she will never forget. You'll have to see it to believe it. Monday here on CBS. Middle Tennessee State can be proud of this guy, Jonathan Quinn. And an outstanding passing tradition at that school in Murfreesboro. That pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Appeared to be Keith McKenzie, who's had a very quiet afternoon when you think about it, not having to go up against Tony Baselli. That's the good news. He's had tremendous pressure coming from the left side working against Aaron Cook, who's been forced to play tackle in the loss of Tony Baselli. McKenzie, 6-year pro out of Ball State. 3rd down and 15.
They got a trip formation, a little teapot. Watch a little scraping underneath. Well, they're going to go motion weak and then back and build it.
Damon Jones is in motion. And now a scramble. Very resourceful move on the part of Quinn, not known for his quickness or his maneuverability. Dalen McCutcheon comes up to make the stop. That puts them in better position for the field goal try as Mike Hollis makes his way out. Hollis, the 3rd most accurate kicker in National Football League history, 7 years out of Idaho. This one will be from 42 yards. 2 out of 4 this season. Hooked it. So one gets away from Jacksonville. He's 2 for 5 on the year and a very disappointed kicker right now.
As a matter of fact, gets the laces turned around late, but look at the angle of the ball. It's kind of at about a 12-degree angle. That's enough to cause the ball to go oblong in this wind. That's tough. He was certainly disappointed about it. The eye contact tells the story.
Yes, it does. Sort of like getting the wrong yardage from your caddy. I thought that was a 9-iron, not an 8. From the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 Cleveland. That missed field goal could be big as this game progresses. Tipped into the air, incomplete. Intended for Nunley. Dudley, the intended receivers. You look at our heroes today. Priest Holmes, former Raven. You've always loved him since his days at Texas. He played well today, Spencer. Kurt Warner of the Rams, torching that Miami defense of Dave Wannstedt. Antoine Smith of New England. Look at the all-purpose yards for him in that huge win over the Colts.
I always thought Priest Holmes was underutilized at Texas.
He helped the Ravens during a difficult period in their organization. Couch's pass is caught. Kevin Johnson at the 46, right in front of Aaron Beasley. See, this is the matchup that everyone thought the Browns could take advantage of. This is really the first time that it's happened.
Well, take a look at the play again. You got a classic situation where you got a tremendous cushion and pad there. You can exploit this all day. You run the end like you're going to cross over, then come underneath it, and there's a void there. I mean, that's a lot of field to cover, but one of the things that will snuff that kind of play down is to get in somebody's face at the line of scrimmage to make them redirect and adjust their path.
From the 45, 1st down, 10 Cleveland. They go with the out route to Johnson this time. And as you mentioned, the cushion is there with this defensive philosophy that Jacksonville has. That'll be the case. Ainsley Battles was over there, had plenty of room. Remember, he had an interception earlier today. Did Battles in the end zone of a poorly thrown ball from Tim Couch.
Here's where you take a shot, and again, you put yourself out in the line here, but I'd take a shot here because if you get closer in 10, 15 more yards, it's going to become more difficult to score. This is where you take the shot with about a 17-yard pass attempt.
19 of 29, does have the one interception. And blitz was coming. Now the question is, did Couch get it? He did not. Recovered by Jacksonville. Larry Smith on top of it. Ever the optimist, Butch Davis. His team trails by 1, another turnover.
On your tires.
Well, the quarterback exchange is critical. Dave Wohlebach, I think Couch comes out just a tad bit early. But when the center oftentimes is trying to get off the ball, that exchange won't be as clean.
Stacey Mack carries ahead for about 4 yards. Earl Little makes the stop. Now, Couch saw the blitz coming and reacted to it, and I think that's what really forced him to leave a bit early.
That was probably 50% of it. The other half is Wohlebach saw someone over him. He had to reach and get that blocking responsibility, and sometimes centers get a little bit aggressive because they see the imminent threat to the quarterback.
Take the reverse again, and they go inside with Mack. Couple of yards tonight on CBS. 60 minutes. How prepared are we for a biological or chemical attack? Let the man who briefs the president brief you. Followed by Academy Award winner Richard Dreyfuss in The Education of Max Bickford. Then Brian Dennehy and Mary Stuart Masterson star in the world premiere mystery Ed McBain's Three Blind Mice. It's all here tonight on CBS.
Tim, sometimes offensive linemen have what they call tag and reach schemes, where if they see a guy in a gap, they'll communicate and move over. I think that's what we saw in that exchange.
Nickel package for Cleveland. Pass is batted down. Once again, Mark Smith. That's 3 times a pass has been batted down. Twice against Quinn. Brunell had one batted down as well. Gerard Warren very active today. Of course, he's the guy responsible for knocking Brunell out of the game.
I think you can kind of feel the play selection becoming a little bit more conservative. I think both these coaches resigned themselves to know that since this is a 1-point difference, it's going to come down to whoever makes the fewest amount of mistakes. So we're going to see a probably more conservative game plan the rest of the way out.
Hanson to punt it away, and Kevin Johnson back in his 20-yard line. High and effective. Outstanding coverage, and Johnson calls for the fair catch at the 21. 38-yard punt, no return. We'll be back. The Jaguars leading by 1. Cleveland has the ball just outside their own 20-yard line. Five-step drop. Couch underneath to White again. White holds on at the 23. That's something he couldn't do earlier, Spencer. And the biggest play of the game to this point, T.J. Slaughter knocks it free for Aaron Beasley.
Mistake, though. He's trying to switch the ball. Rule number 1, keep it in your outside hand, away from the defender. He tried to switch it. That's a rule that you can't violate when you're running the ball.
Just shy of the 25. 2nd and 7. 4 wide receivers set for the Browns. Over the middle and caught, but a yard shy of the first down to German. For an update on Baltimore and Denver, NFL update. Again, here's Jim.
Thank you, Tim. You know, the Ravens were down 7 in the second half, tied it on the pass to Ismail. Now Gerback to Travis Taylor, who went to high school right there in Jacksonville, to give the Ravens the lead 2013. Let's go back to Timmy V and Spencer.
Nothing like a local tie-in for the fans in Jacksonville. Just shy of a first down, less than a yard, and the Jaguar faithful rise to attention. They run to the strong side, and Jamel White has the first down. Out to the 33-yard line for another update on Cincinnati and San Diego, those unbeaten. Jim, tell us about it.
Well, we've got another update on LaDainian Tomlinson. 21-0 in the second half. The Chargers, all 3 touchdowns from the rookie, who has 107 yards rushing to go with the 3 scores. Chargers have broken it open, Tim. Let's go back to you.
The dividends continue to pay off for the draft of the San Diego Chargers, bringing in Flutie and getting Tomlinson.
Over 100 yards for 2 of the Week 3 seasons of the NFL so far. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Couch finds his man. That's Mike Sellers, a very versatile player. This is a guy that'll play some H-back. He can line up as a fullback in an I formation. They can utilize him at tight end. He can go along with Dudley or Santiago. This guy's been very, very effective for the Browns and Bruce Arians. He's very, very high on this young man from Walla Walla.
Well, the key is when you get a guy like that, it forces defenses to make decisions. Do you go back with a nickel guy to get an extra guy in there, or do you go with a bigger linebacker? He can cause matchup problems with linebackers.
Yeah, he's a veteran of community college play at Walla Walla. Jamel White ahead for a couple. Hardy Nickerson there again to make the tackle.
You know, White's not the biggest guy, but I'd kind of like to see him get his shoulders down just a little bit, because he's not going to win that battle. At the point of contact, he needs to be wrapped up in securing the ball.
You know, I think one of the reasons you're more critical about his running style is that you're about the same height and size. Do you see a little bit of Spencer Tillman in this guy?
It takes one to know one.
Well, not a bad day, though. 57 yards rushing for him. Called into duty after the injury to Jackson, who we were told was available, and they've decided to stay with White.
An injury may be a little bit more extensive than we're led to believe.
Flubbed his own, and White's got it again out of the backfield. Ahead for the first down. Boy, he lowered the shoulders that time to get the first down at the 36-yard line of Jacksonville.
Now, you see what advantage it is when you get your shoulders down. It doesn't matter if you're facing a linebacker or a secondary guy. Couch with plenty of time looking, and he's going to find White on the far side, and he just gets upfield. Watch him get your shoulders squared up. There are two defenders there. When you get your pads low, you can split bodies that are flying north and south all over the place. That's a tremendous job of getting north and south by White.
Both teams a full complement of timeouts. The numbers continue to grow for Couch, who does not have a touchdown pass as yet. Great fake. Looking and finding his man inside the 20. Quincy Morgan. What great play, because they had Kevin Johnson going deep, which really cleared out that area for Morgan.
Well, the thing I like about it is the play action caused by the Boston, the pass. You see it pick it up well into the play there. Tremendous job on the play action. That's actually what made that particular play successful. Couch is well into the throw now. But really what sold that play was the play action. They were running a stretch play off the left side. That sold everyone and froze the defensive backs on the far side of the field. That gave him the open space he needed to make the completion.
Browns inside the red zone again. White. Nice stutter step to avoid Spicer, who had tremendous penetration, but Hardy is there to make the tackle. Paul Spicer's been very active, fulfilling the vacancy allowed from the injured Tony Brackens out with that knee. He was chop blocked and forced to miss last week's game, and likely to miss another week or two. There he is. Decided to go with a ponytail look in the second half.
And the wind got a little bit.
Well, perhaps the critics were out in the locker room. Second down, 11. Dudley and Sellers, the twin tight end look. White vaults ahead for a couple of more. To about the 13-yard line. Now Butch Davis very, very satisfied with the progression of this team. This would be a huge step in this organization's move forward under his leadership, should they get a road victory at Jacksonville, particularly in the wake of the Jaguars winning against divisional foes like Pittsburgh and Tennessee, their old nemesis.
This is a big feather in their cap. They can pull it off. The exciting thing about it is Butch knows how to reclaim a team. He did it in Dallas when they were 1-15 as a defensive coordinator, defensive line coach, and reclaimed Miami as well.
Third down, 9. Playing for the field goal here. Nickerson makes the tackle. They simply wanted to get in better position to go for 3. Do you agree with that call?
No question about it. I mean, as we said a few minutes ago, I think that they're going to start to be a little bit more conservative, taking less chances now, because both teams have resigned themselves to know it's going to come down to whoever it is that makes the least amount of mistakes at this point.
Did you see Terry Robisky in the screen there? He came up. He was right next to Davis there. I can't help but think about Terry Robisky. And think about it. He had the Redskins for three games. Jeff George for 2 of those, and he lost his job. Marty Schottenheimer had Jeff George for 2 and got rid of Jeff George.
Well, you can draw your own conclusions there. But he's a talented coach for sure. And it really is a shame that he didn't get a chance to stay a little bit longer.
20 years in the league as a player, a coach with the Redskins, and became an interim coach for 3 games when he took over for Norv Turner. And Phil Dawson now checks into the game, looking to give the Browns the lead. This should be about a 30-yard try.
Should be a chip shot. There's no wind to affect him.
He's hit on 35 and 28-yard tries. This one for the lead from 30. Got it. And the Browns take the lead with 5:13 remaining. Tim Couch very appreciative. Outstanding drive leading to 3. Butch will take it up for now. Cleveland leads 16-14. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman. You see the scoring drive. 11 plays, 66 yards. Couch 5 of 5. And then Dawson, the 30-yard field goal, his third of the afternoon. Raymond Gibson elects to bring it out from 6 yards deep. Not a good decision. Late marker flies as well, which could add to the misery index as Anthony Henry, young man who had 3 pass interceptions last week, came up to make the stop. And you add to that a hold, and you're going to be backed up inside the 5.
Number 95 on the receiving team during the return. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Saturday, we've got an SEC doubleheader. Tim Wansley leads the Dogs into Rocky Top to meet Casey Clausen. And then Jabbar Gaffney in the Gators tangle with Rohan Davey and the LSU Tigers. For more college football news, go to cbs.sportsline.com. AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. We look forward to all of that next week. That's an outstanding doubleheader. Will help shape the college football season in the Southeastern Conference. Here, just over 5 to play. First down, 10 Jaguars at their 3. To the 6-yard line. Dwayne Rudd made the stop. Boy, you think of throwing into the flat from the end zone, and Mack not known for holding on to the ball perhaps as well as, say, a Fred Taylor might.
Well, maybe if you do a little quick slant, you can understand that, but on a stretch play, when you're swinging the back out to make a completion, your quarterback is standing back there. It's not like he's in the middle of the field. That's a very risky call.
Patrick Washington is the fullback now, 31. Play fake. Washington coming from the fullback position out to the 16-yard line for the first down amid flags. This one will be against the Browns.
Illegal contact, number 33 defense. That penalty will be declined. First down.
Goes against Dalen McCutcheon. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the game between the Browns and the Jaguars. I'm Tim Brando along with Spencer Tillman. It's 16-14 Cleveland. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. Quinn out to Mack. Down at the 22-yard line. A saving tackle by Ellsworth. Four minutes remaining in this game between the Browns and the Jaguars. And here's what happened to Mark Brunell earlier in the game, which forced Jonathan Quinn, the 4-year player out of Middle Tennessee, into the game. Brunell looking to shovel pass to Stacy Mack. Stays in the play, and Jaward Warren dings him right here. He played one more series after that, and then at halftime they decided that would be Quinn the rest of the way. Stacy Mack takes it ahead to the 25-yard line. 3:30 and counting. A 2-point deficit faces this Jaguar team coming off some very big victories. Beating Jerome Bettis and the Steelers 21-3. Their defense dominated that game. And then the Titans, a team that has been their nemesis for the last 4 years. And Eddie Torrance, they shut them down last week.
And they're showing blitz here, which is very surprising.
Quinn's pass to Jimmy Smith. He's got it. Out of bounds, just shy of midfield. Well, you got to believe it's Smith and McCardell the rest of the way.
Yeah, another missed tackle by Anthony Henry. And here's why I'm saying it's a surprise that they're showing blitz at this point, where you know they've got to go deep to get significant yardage. Why don't you just do what you need to do, get in the guy's face, but give him some cushion? This is when they need to be in the zone coverage, Tim.
Smith and McCardell flank to the top of your screen. 6 receptions, 64 yards for Smith today. Again, extends himself. That's a catch not a lot of guys make, but Jimmy Smith can. Corey Fuller brings him down. Full extension to reel that one in.
And you know the affection when Tom Coughlin talks about this guy. He really likes him a lot, and I think it's partly because of his work ethic. And sure, you're attracted to a guy that shows tremendous talent, but he just likes the way this guy works. He sacrifices himself on every play.
Jaguars with 2 timeouts remaining, plus the 2-minute warning, which adds really another one. And the Browns a full complement of 3. Out route to Smith again. They're going underneath, and they're doing it very effectively to the 36. Corey Fuller knocked him out.
So they're working on Corey Fuller on the outside again. A huge pad here, a little bit too much, a little outcut. You know, you're talking about 8-9 yards. They'll take that every time.
The Jaguars are really doing to Cleveland what the Browns and Couch were doing to Jacksonville most of this day, going underneath against that zone coverage. From the 36. Plenty of time. There's that one out. Quality coverage from the Browns that time. Sean Dawkins was the intended receiver. Clearly they wanted to look deep. And I believe Damon Jones was double covered, the tight end.
Well, the key there was they were in cover too. They had 2 deep safeties in the corners, although they were a little bit loose, were certainly not giving up the cushions they had on the prior 3 plays. That's how you defend this Jaguar offense.
2nd and 10. 3 wide receiver set.
Showing cover 2 again, but they're a little bit soft.
The 4th block pass of the day. This time Dalen McCutcheon got it. And I believe for Cleveland, a linebacker, 2 down linemen, and a cornerback have batted down passes.
Well, a lineman is always taught to keep your hand in the face. It doesn't matter if you're coming off the corner as a defensive back. You've got to time it up right. You've a combination of skill, talent, and just being locked in on the quarterback and not fooled by a pump fake. In that case, McCutcheon got up and just did the job.
Well, Jonathan Quinn taking over at halftime. Basically, his biggest play to this point in the game, 3rd and 10. Pressure again coming from the middle. Outstanding work by Greg Spires coming through at left defensive end. Big number 96. Former Seminole at Florida State.
Maurice Williams got away with the hold there on Greg Spires, Timmy. Big time.
Well, with 2:05 remaining, Jacksonville decides that they need to go for it. 2-minute warning coming up. They still have 2 timeouts left. So all would not be lost even if they don't convert, but would make it very difficult if they don't. Indecision, play clock is out. Incomplete for Dawkins. Well, I really felt the play clock had run out prior to the snap. I think they got away with that one. 1:58 remaining. The Browns have the football and control of this game. Fazio talking with his defense. He has to be impressed. You know, the play clock had clearly run out, and Butch had a lot to say to the officials during the 2-minute warning timeout.
He certainly knew that he was displeased with that, and they communicated that message as such.
1 first down, and it's over for the Browns. Jamel White ahead to the 36-yard line. Clock moves. Timeout Jacksonville. They'll have to use all of their timeouts in this sequence. Hope to get the football back and then to make some things happen with pass patterns to the sidelines.
Well, you know, Butch Davis was slow to say that, hey, we've got something special going on here. It's too early. But if they're able to come out of this place with a win today, this is a tremendous character-building performance today, Tim. This team battled with the ball club that just blew them out of the water last year. They came back with the same cast of offensive characters. For no intended purposes, they basically control this game. I really believe that. It's competitive on the scoreboard, but it's still within the dynamics of what Butch Davis wanted to do, and that's keep it close, and therefore they're going to get the result that they need if they can just get 1 first down.
You look back at that play by Brunell to open the game, and biorhythms just were not with Jacksonville after that. It was an ill-advised decision to shovel past to Mack in traffic, and then after he did it, Gerard Warren really loaded up on him, and he was never the same after that.
Well, it was a smart play by Warren to remain active, because he knows at that point Brunell becomes a runner. Butch Davis has done a fine job coaching this ball club in this short season, and like I said, he's a reclamation project specialist, Tim.
Well, he certainly inherited one, but he got some free agents, all guys with 3 or 4, maybe 6 years tops of experience to go along with his very young team. Many of them guys he had at Miami as collegians. 2nd and 9, and here's White. What a performance he's had today. James Jackson got hurt. Here's a late flag. Now, James Jackson had the first 100+ yard performance. That's a hold against Cleveland. That's a difficult penalty at this stage of the game, and Butch won't be happy with that. Artie Nickerson asking if they need to take the timeout now.
Holding, number 66. Offense. The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Yeah, they want the down, not the distance, which was obvious. And Artie Nickerson quickly says, no, we definitely want to negate it. We need the time on the clock, not the distance from the penalty. Third down and 6. Well, do you play it conservative here?
Probably will. I would go play action, though.
They don't. White keeps it. Boy, he may have the first down. I believe he does. At the 46-yard line, T.J. Slaughter pulls him down.
That's a gutsy call, Tim.
Is it ever?
Play action. You're running a stretch play. Great void there. And I think Jacksonville just got caught on their heels. They weren't expecting it. Couch knew that they had the first down the minute he handed it off.
Well, this mark is short.
It looked like he had it to me.
No, but he got a right foot mark, and I believe it's going to be about a ball short.
Well, that's going to be about
a little less than a ball short.
3 chain link short.
Now, officials will always tell you left foot mark, right foot mark. Every time I see a right foot mark, I basically think it's going to be short. It really does. The left foot mark is always advantageous. And a decision here for, you got young players all saying, oh, let's go get it.
One thing we know about Butch Davis, he's not afraid to create an opportunity to create character in his kids. It would be one whale of an opportunity for him to do that now, but you got to punt the ball away.
Yeah.
And ask your young defense just to hold.
Well, they were so excited at first glance, it appeared as if he may have the first down. And a timeout taken by the Browns. So the anguish continues for Tom Coughlin. Do we get it back? And if so, where? Gary Moeller, defensive coordinator, looks on, and they are going into a punt formation. And you're right, this is really the only call to make. I think the initial reaction of the Browns were, hey, we should have had it. Let's go ahead and get it over with right now.
No, that wouldn't be wise, because you get them in field goal range, and all of a sudden your backs are against you.
Yep. Gardocki has punted well this afternoon, averaging better than 43 yards. Damon Gibson stands at his 10. Another outstanding punt, driving him back to the 6. And he's down immediately. Aaron Henry, the rookie who had the 3 interceptions last week, is down there on special teams. A 49-yard punt. -2 on the return. And the Jaguars get it back, but out of timeouts, and they'll begin at their own 6-yard line.
And Tim, here's where you play that cover 2 with the very soft corners. The idea being, now you don't want them to get behind your coverage, whereas before it just didn't really fit the situation. So now Cleveland has a chance to really do something special here. This is going to be a big win if they can come away with it.
Now remember this about Jacksonville. They still have McCardell and Jimmy Smith, arguably 2 of the best receivers in the business. They go with a 3 wide receiver set and Damon Jones in at tight end. Sean Dawkins is also in there, right to the top of your screen. Jonathan Quinn lets it fly. Jones has it at the 22. Clock continues to tick. Boy, he put that one right between the defenders. Earl Little was there to make the tackle, but he and Fuller both within arm's distance of an interception there. Quinn out to Smith towards the sidelines. He decides to cut inside, so the clock will continue to run as he gets to the 30.
It's Anthony Henry there coming up, making the great play. Rookie's been all over the place.
Well, they got to get out of bounds here, one would think. Second and short. Picked off. Dylan McCutcheon. Game, set, match for the Browns. You think somewhere Lawrence McCutcheon is smiling?
Yeah, he's definitely happy right now.
Well, the son of a football star making some plays. This young Cleveland secondary who answered the challenge. They had 7 interceptions against Ty Detmer, one short of tying an NFL record in a single game. And some big-time plays made today, not only by Anthony Henry, Ray Jackson. Of course, we lose sight of that special teams play he made in the first half. And they're going to put this one away. And the kick is good by Dawson. And this is a stunned Jacksonville crowd. He knew he had to go to the sideline.
This is a coverage interception. By that I mean because of the coverage we're playing. He just stepped right in front of this ball, timed it up, and picked it off. But again, Timmy, if you're playing off with your corners back, good thing about that is the play stays in front of you. It's not like you're playing press coverage. Your man coverage, the guy has all the time has a possibility to get behind you, and certainly excited about it. No, forget about it. He knew he threw that one out. Butch Dave, meantime, the antithesis of what Quinn. He's excited, and as well he should be. Remarkable.
You got to be ready every week. You beat the Tennessee Titans, and then you still have to play the following week. Well, tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes in its entirety, immediately following our game, the education of Max Bickford. And the CBS Sunday movie, it's Ed McBain's 3 Blind Mice. All tonight, immediately after our game. Dalen McCutcheon, and a quiet moment for him there. Just taking it in. I get the feeling that this youthful exuberance, we talked about it earlier, the Browns, the 4th youngest team in the league, only a couple of players over the age of 30, and Butch Davis's style, his approach to the game will serve this team well in the foreseeable future.
He said he didn't want to add some veteran players and maybe win 2 more games this year, and then those guys disappear on him. He's building it the right way. Young guys are probably going to be here for a while.
Damon Gibson brings it out to the 38-yard line. 28 ticks remaining, and they're hitting the gates here in Jacksonville.
The only downside of that, when you build a young team like this, at some point in time, of course, this is probably the better of the scenarios, but at some point in time, those star young players will start to command the higher salaries, and then you got to make decisions on them, much like Jacksonville did last year.
Well, many people thought that this team would be taken apart, but Mark Brunell decided to stay, took less money for the cap. Many believe that they're 22, 23 million over the cap going into next year. They were over 30 million over the cap at the end of last season. Pass is incomplete. It's intended for Alvis Whitted, speedster out of North Carolina State. But Butch Davis has been successful everywhere he's been. The thing that I admire most about Davis is, unlike some, yes, Jimmy Johnson, who's now out catching fish, not trying to win games. Jimmy Johnson had an impact on him, but Butch is his own man when it comes to his coaching style. He's not trying to be anyone other than who he is.
Well, the thing about him is he's got his finger on the pulse of each player. To a man, everyone we talked to said that Butch Davis knows how to motivate them, and that's something that a coach has got to be able to do these days.
That may have been considered a lateral. If so, it's a fumble, and it is picked up by Jacksonville and advanced inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. is Brad Meester. That's ruled a lateral because the ball was thrown backwards, and the game will end on that play. Butch Davis gets it done with his young Browns, 23-14 for Spencer Tillman. I'm Tim Brando saying so long from Alltel Stadium, for our final score 23-14. The Browns over the Jaguars. Tonight on CBS, it's 60.